Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to lace up our gloves, so to speak, and step into a pretty fascinating world of boxing training.
That's good.
Our guide for this is the seasoned trainer, Enamait, and we're drawing from, well, the wealth of knowledge in his work. You
Right.
mentioned wanting to absorb valuable info, quickly but thoroughly, and that's really our goal here. Just extract the core principles of effective boxing prep without making it overwhelming.
Yeah, kind of like a streamlined guide.
Exactly. Think of it as your personal guide to understanding what really goes into forging a fighter.
And what's striking about Enamate's stuff right off the bat is how comprehensive it is.
Yeah,
It's way beyond just like the punches.
totally.
We're looking at the whole ecosystem, intense training camps, daily routines, skill development, obviously, peak conditioning, smart injury prevention,
Mm,
and even some interesting unconventional methods and supplement considerations. It's a really holistic view.
absolutely. And our mission, for this deep dive is to distill the absolute essentials from all this great material.
Get right to the core.
Yeah, give you actionable insights into the dedication, the strategic thinking that goes into it. We'll navigate that balance between, peak physical shape and finely tuned skill,
Mm.
the power of recovery, which is often overlooked, and even touch on the mental side,
Uh-huh.
all while keeping it engaging and trying to avoid too much jargon.
Sounds like a plan. Where do we start?
Okay, let's dive right in with the place where a lot of this happens, the training camp. Anna might actually experience this firsthand up in the Catskills.
Oh, yeah, with U.S. Olympian Lawrence Claybay and John Scully, former light heavy contender.
Exactly. So these
But
camps.
so stepping back, these isolated camps, usually about 6 weeks,
Yeah,
Enmai says they're all about total focus.
right.
It's like eat, sleep, breathe boxing, you're away from all the usual
Equal
distractions.
immersion.
Totally. But what's really key, and Enmai points this out, is that fighters need to show up already in good shape.
Ah, okay. So it's not where you get fit initially.
No, not at all. You need to be ready for incredibly tough sessions from day one. So I guess the takeaway for anyone really is the power of immersion, cutting out distractions,
Mm-hmm.
but also being prepared. That intense phase isn't for building the foundation.
That makes sense. And speaking of intensity, it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but a huge part of this demanding schedule is rest.
Yeah, that always surprises people.
Enamait really emphasizes that a full rest day, usually Sunday,
Wow.
is absolutely essential for recovery, muscle growth, all that.
So if you're wondering, can I take days off when I'm pushing hard?
The answer is a definite yes. According to him, anyway. Neglecting rest is just a fast track to overtraining.
Right. Smart fighters get it. Rest isn't weakness, it's part of the process. It highlights how crucial recovery strategies are, especially when the training is that demanding.
It kind of shifts the mindset, doesn't it? Away from just more is always better.
Exactly. It's not just relentless effort, it's smart effort, giving the body time to adapt and actually get stronger.
So, paint a picture for us. What does a typical day in one of these camps actually look like?
Well, usually two, sometimes even three, distinct training sessions.
Okay.
Mornings often kick off with road work.
Yeah.
But Enamate stresses this isn't just some casual jog around the block.
Right, not just logging miles.
No, it's varied intensity. Sprints, interval work,
Yeah.
hills, and they plan it strategically, usually on non-sparring days, so your legs are fresh.
Makes sense. And then what? Straight from the run to...
Straight to the gym, usually.
Yeah.
Daily calisthenics, sit-ups, push-ups, pull-ups, and specific neck strengthening exercises, too.
Wow, okay. So cardio, straight into foundational strength, shows the rounded demands?
Precisely. Then, typically midday, the focus shifts. Sparring.
A real deal.
Yeah, often against really high-caliber guys brought into camp, specifically for that purpose. Plus, general boxing workouts, heavy bag, focus mitts, shadow boxing, conditioning drills.
All the staples.
Right. And often finishing up with strength training and plyometrics.
Gotcha. And the sparring itself in these camps?
He says it's fast-paced, high skill level, absolutely critical for nailing your timing, reactions, putting combos together smoothly. It's the closest simulation you'll get to an actual fight.
But important to note that super intense sparring isn't an everyday thing, right? Different from more regular sparring.
Absolutely. That's a key distinction.
Now, Enamait also gets into something really vital. The difference between physical conditioning and actual boxing skill.
Yeah, this is crucial.
He really emphasizes boxing is fundamentally a skill sport. Now, conditioning stuff like anaerobic endurance, explosive power, It's essential, no doubt.
Especially in the amateurs, yeah. He quotes one trainer saying it's like 80%.
Right. But that other 20%, the skill part, is, in his words, pretty damn important.
Yeah, you need both. They're totally intertwined.
How so?
Well, you need the fitness to actually execute the skills round after round.
Right.
But you also need the skills to land punches, score points, and crucially, avoid getting hammered.
Good point. Sometimes the focus gets skewed just towards the physical stuff.
Yeah, but Enamait brings it back. It's about hitting and not getting hit. Conditioning alone won't save you if your technique or ring smarts aren't there.
And speaking of honing those skills, he's pretty blunt about one thing.
Oh yeah, sparring. He says there are simply no effective substitutes, period.
So bag work isn't enough.
It's valuable, definitely, for technique, power, but it just can't replicate facing a live opponent. Someone who hits back, moves, uses different tactics,
Makes sense, the unpredictability.
Exactly. Sparring is where you really test your techniques under fire, practice combos against real resistance, sharpen your reflexes.
And he says even if you don't have a fight lined up.
Keep sparring regularly. It keeps those skills sharp. Boxing isn't seasonal. It's about continuous improvement, year-round in the gym.
Okay, so to make this more concrete, he gives a sample training day from camp.
Yeah, gives you a feel for the intensity.
Kicks off early, 7:00 a.m., road work on the track. Then later, 11:00 a.m. to noon, it's resistance training plus plyometrics.
Plyos, those explosive jump exercises, right? Crucial for punching power.
Exactly. So warm up, stretching, then 3 sets of 8 reps for things like single foot ankle hops, lateral jumps, squat jumps, plyometric push-ups, med ball passes, and throws, with a minute rest between sets.
Nice. That really shows the mix of explosive power work and strength.
Yeah.
Lower reps, focused on power,
Yeah.
not just endurance for that session.
Right. And he also lays out a tough body weight circuit for strength and endurance.
Oh yeah, those can be killers.
Totally. Burpees, pull-ups, lunges, push-ups, V-ups, close grip push-ups, bodyweight squats.
Okay.
Each one for 30 seconds, then only 30 seconds or less rest, then a minute rest after the whole sequence, and repeat it 3 times total.
Wow. That shows how much you can do with just body weight.
Yeah.
Short rest really push the cardio side too, along with the muscles.
Definitely. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Enamait offers some really practical tactical advice for different opponent styles.
Ah, this is good stuff. Adapting your game.
Right. So against a jabber, someone who relies heavily on the jab,
What's the plan?
catch the jab, counter with the right, or slip it, counter with a right uppercut, or even jab with them to disrupt their rhythm.
Smart. Okay, what about southpaws? Lefties.
Make them back up. Use right hand leads, left hooks, and always try to stay to their jab hand side.
Gotcha. And the big punchers, the sluggers.
Keep your distance. Keep them in the center of the ring. Don't let them get set. Lateral movement is key, and a busy jab to keep them off balance.
That kind of specific advice really highlights how boxing is like chess. You got to adjust your strategy.
Exactly. And he also brings up something maybe beginners overlook.
Body shots.
You got it. The value of body shots. Says a lot of fighters focus too much on the head.
But attacking the body is huge. Judges score activity, right? So even if headshots aren't landing clean, body work keeps the pressure on.
And wears them down, presumably.
Absolutely. Tires the legs, makes them drop their guard maybe,
Yeah.
sets up shots upstairs later. Smart boxing.
Enamait then gets really detailed on counterpunching, specifically against the jab.
Okay, like what?
He highlights the block, a jab, and jab. It's all about timing. Your jab lands as you catch theirs, like one sound.
Tricky to get right, I bet.
Yeah, and he warns against overreaching with your counter jab. Leaves you open for a left hook. Keep it short, like catching a baseball.
Good visual.
And if you get good at that, you can add a quick right hand behind it for a fast 1-2.
Nice. Any other counters?
Yep. Stepping inside their jab with a short, fast right hand straight down the pipe. He says that can actually end a fight.
Wow.
And it can open up a left uppercut to the body, too. Or slipping the jab outside to your right and countering with a right over the top. Needs good timing, though.
So lots of options.
Key takeaway. Have variety. Don't be predictable. It's like that chess match analogy again.
Totally. The technical depth is amazing. It's not just flailing, it's timing, distance, anticipation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, enhancing the lead hand, the left jab for orthodox, right jab for southpaws. Crucial weapon.
Sets everything up, controls the fight.
Enamait says mastering it involves technique, obviously, but also timing, distance control, knowing your range.
Using feints, angles, keeping the opponent guessing.
Right. And how do you best develop it?
Well, he says it comes down to consistent work on the heavy bag, purposeful shadow boxing like really visualize an opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, sparring. Lots of sparring.
He even lists specific jab combos to practice. Jab, feint jab, double jab, triple jab, high-low jabs, jab, hook
They
jab.
got drills on the bag, mitts, sparring until they're second nature.
He sums up some basic combos using numbers 1 is jab, 2 is right, 3 is hook, like the basic 1, 2, 3.
Or 1-3-2, 1-2-pit, 1-2.1, 1-2-1-1.
Yeah, but the main point is mix it up. Don't be a programmed fighter.
That layered approach is key. It's not just throwing the jab. It's knowing how and when to use its variations.
Okay, let's talk footwork. Big topic. Any magic drills?
Huh. Enamait says, nope, no magic bullets for fluid ring movement.
What about jump rope? Everyone does that.
Good for conditioning, yeah, and hand-foot coordination. But he argues it doesn't really teach sport-specific footwork, the kind you need in a fight.
So how do you develop it?
Only way, he contends, is getting in the ring and practicing. Learning to throw punches while moving, staying balanced.
He does mention one drill, though. Sugar rays.
Ah, yeah. Circling the ring, pumping the jab, changing direction every 20-30 seconds using pivots, head movement.
Yep.
Basically trying to emulate Sugar Ray Leonard's grace.
But the point is, these drills are within a boxing context, right?
Exactly. Improving footwork for boxing, not just general agility, reinforces that skills need to be practiced in a fight-like situation.
Okay, circling back slightly to the body attack, he really emphasizes this.
Yeah, it's often undervalued. He points out, even if body shots don't show up bright red on the computer score.
They wear guys down, especially the legs.
Big time. A good body shot can change everything. Mix it up, head, body, head, keep them guessing.
He uses Mickey Ward's signature combo as an example.
Right? Left hook upstairs, then boom, left hook to the body right after. Use the headshot to make them raise their guard, opens up the body.
Smart. Even just a jab to the body can be effective. Keep them off balance.
Totally. He gives other combos too, like jab to the body, then an overhand right to the head. Use that one sparingly, though.
Keep the surprise element.
Exactly. Or jab to the head, then a straight right to the body, straight left for southpaws. That can set up a left hook.
He mentions the straight right to the body is often neglected.
Yeah, but it can be a fight ender if timed right. Just got to be careful not to overuse it and get countered by a left hook.
Again, it's that strategic thinking, not just throwing punches, but setting things up, breaking opponents down.
Absolutely. Now here's something fighters often experience. Getting tired super quickly in sparring, even if they feel generally fit.
Yeah, what's that about, the fighting shape thing?
Exactly. Enamait says fighting shape is different from just being gym fit. There's no, standard test for being able to go hard every round.
So you could ace a track workout, but gas out after one round of sparring.
Precisely. Interval training, anaerobic work, essential, yes, but only part of the puzzle.
What's the missing piece?
Staying loose, relaxed, in the ring, fighters tense up under pressure, waste tons of energy with unnecessary muscle contractions.
Okay. Fighting tight.
Right. And interval sprints won't teach you how to relax when someone's trying to take your head off.
So how do you learn that?
Sparring and actual competition. That's where you build confidence in your defense, learn to stay calm in the pocket.
He tells that story about the track sprinter.
Oh, yeah. Great example. Super conditioned athlete, totally gassed after 2 rounds with an experienced amateur, shows fight shape is more than just running.
It's about poise, slipping punches, countering, while staying relaxed under fire.
That's the key. Critical distinction.
What about specific training tools? Anything he really recommends?
The double end bag. He's a big fan.
Why that one specifically?
You can use it for multiple rounds. Doesn't make you super sore. Good warm-up, too, before strength work. He calls it one of the best tools for a boxer.
Improves timing, accuracy, head movement, right.
All of the above. Really valuable piece of equipment.
He also talks about a common heavy bag drill, finishing a round with a 30-second all-out burst.
Yeah, stationary burnout.
Yeah.
But he suggests flipping it.
How so?
Start the round with the all-out burst. Then spend the rest of the round boxing the bag, circling, jabbing, throwing combos, focusing on footwork, even after you spent that energy.
Interesting. Why do it that way?
Teaches you to keep moving even when your legs are tired. A good boxer uses the whole ring, especially late in the fight when fatigue sets in.
Clever way to build that specific kind of endurance. And that leads into his point about not just hitting the bag.
Right, but BXing the bag.
Meaning?
Throw combinations, then move. Left, right. Practice feints, side steps, upper body movement. Don't just stand there like a statue.
More time.
Definitely. But crucial for breaking bad habits. Think while you're working the bag. Practice new stuff. Visualize an opponent. Make it sport-specific.
That focus on intentionality seems key throughout his approach.
Absolutely. Now, something else that's maybe underused. Video analysis.
Not just watching opponents, but watching yourself.
Exactly. Recording yourself sparring, hitting the bag, shadowboxing. He argues it's incredibly valuable.
Why? What do you see?
Subtle mistakes you don't notice in the moment, missed opportunities, areas to improve, but also what you're doing right builds confidence.
Seeing it is different than just being told by a coach.
Often more impactful, yeah.
Yeah.
He recommends recording sparring, fights, and occasionally bag work and shadowboxing to track progress. Says even a cheap camcorder is a good investment.
And the process is, watch it, note one thing to improve, one thing you did well.
Simple but effective. Great tool for self-assessment.
Talking about combinations again, he advises against always being predictable.
Like always follow a right uppercut with a left hook. Mix it up.
He gives an example, right? Throw the uppercut maybe as a distraction. Take a little step to create an angle.
And then follow with a straight right and a left hook from that new angle. Smart. Using punches to set up other shots, creating angles, that's advanced stuff.
He also connects training focus to the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule.
Right. Focusing on the 20% of activities that give you 80% of the results. Efficiency.
So don't just coast through bag work, plan it. Target multiple things.
Use a timer with seconds for intervals. Add short punch-out bursts at the end of skill work for conditioning without taking up tons of time.
He quotes E.B. White, "Make the work interesting and the discipline will take care of itself." Nice touch.
Yeah, advocating for engaging, purposeful training. Maximize your time.
And to really drive home the skill aspect over pure power.
He uses the Corey Spinks versus Ricardo Mayorga fight example.
Right, Mayorga, the huge puncher. Spinks, considered weaker.
But Spinks won decisively. How? Smart angles, effective counters. Mayorga made mistakes, like not getting off the ring.
So the lesson is,
Victories don't always need knockouts, especially in the amateurs. Focus on technique, ring generalship. Skill and strategy can beat power.
it's as much mental as physical, which leads to the importance of composure under pressure.
Absolutely critical. He uses Mickey Ward as an example. His ability to stay focused, keep pressuring, even when things got tough against Gaddy.
There's that quote he uses from James Roll about heart and desire revealing character when things go bad.
Powerful stuff. The advice is, don't let a bad round or a frustrating opponent derail you.
He mentioned Sugar Ray Leonard frustrating Duran into quitting.
And George Foreman's late KO over Michael Moore after being outboxed for 9 rounds. Examples of staying composed, believing.
So you gotta dig deep, remember why you're there, stay focused till the final bell. A fight can turn on one punch.
That mental fortitude is often the difference maker.
Now here's a common mistake he points out. What fighters often do right after a hard sparring session.
Ah, yes. They stop training immediately, right? Just sit down. Fatigue makes you want to quit.
But he advises against that.
Strongly. Instead, get a drink, walk around a bit, keep moving, and then get back to work.
Like hitting the heavy bag for a few more hard rounds, or mitts if the coach is free.
Exactly. Because sparring, even intense sparring, doesn't fully replicate a real fight. The crowd, the nerves, everything.
So pushing through that exhaustion in the gym helps prepare you for fight night fatigue.
You got it. Building the mental and physical resilience to battle every minute, even when you're tired, even against unknown styles, pushing past perceived limits.
Okay, here's a really unexpected training tip he throws in. Juggling.
Huh. Yeah, sounds weird, right? But for hand-eye coordination,
How does that work?
he says it coordinates hands and eyes without stressing the punching muscles. You can do it often, no risk of overtraining that way.
And other athletes use it too.
Apparently so. For relaxation and coordination, it takes practice, short sessions consistently. He even gives a link to learn how.
So a few tennis balls, and you've got an inexpensive way to boost coordination.
Fascinating.
Shows that skill development can come from unexpected places. He also suggests a couple of cheap homemade drills for variety.
Yeah, good for home training. First, the hanging paper drill.
Punching a piece of paper hung at eye level, like Bruce Lee supposedly did.
That's the one. For speed fast jabs, straight rights, incorporate head movement. 4 rounds in the morning, he suggests.
And the other one.
Hanging tennis ball. Suspend a tennis ball, kind of like a mini double-end bag. Work combinations, forces head movement, improves accuracy and coordination. Kostya-Tszyu used something similar.
So 3 rounds on each gives you 6 rounds of skill work without much muscle stress. Good for mornings.
Great examples of supplementing gym work at home, focusing on speed, accuracy, coordination.
And crucial for boxing.
Yeah.
Hand injury prevention.
Very important. He recommends 2 exercises. Knuckle push-ups
Strengthens the punching joints and muscles.
and fingertip push-ups. Strengthens the fingers and hands themselves.
How often?
At least 3 days a week, working towards maybe 50 fingertip push-ups eventually. Builds durability.
Makes sense. Okay, let's tackle the big one. Running. Road work. Is it really necessary? Someone asked him that.
And he argues strongly, yes, crucial for improving anaerobic endurance, that ability for high-intensity bursts.
And you can do it in the morning without tiring your arms for the evening gym session.
Right. And interval running, though tough, he thinks is maybe the best way for that kind of conditioning. Road work's been a staple forever. Neglecting it is a mistake, he says.
He gives some sample routines, too. An intense interval one.
Yeah. Mile warm-up jog, then 3 repeats of 300-meter sprints with a 100-meter jog recovery.
Followed by a 400-meter sprint, then a 400-meter walk rest. Option to repeat the whole set. Tough.
And also a sprint training without rest. Sample alternating 100-meter sprints with push-ups and V-ups immediately after. Continuous high demand.
Provides structure, variety, really challenges that anaerobic system needed for boxing.
He then gets into high-intensity interval training, HIIT, more generally.
Short bursts, max effort, short active rest. Good for endurance, burns calories efficiently.
He lays out a sample 6-week running program based on HIIT. Starts with maybe 5 intervals of 30-second sprint, 30-second light jog.
And builds up to 12 intervals.
Yeah.
Key is maximal intensity on the sprints.
And the great thing is you can do HIIT anywhere with just a stopwatch. No track needed. Time efficient, too.
And if running isn't an option, limited space maybe.
Burpee intervals. Great home-based alternative.
Describe the workout.
30 seconds of high-intensity burpees, then 30 seconds rest. Progress by replacing the rest with shadowboxing. Build up to maybe 12 intervals.
And add dumbbells for more intensity.
Yep, dumbbell burpees.
Yeah.
Fantastic full-body exercise, really mimics running interval demands.
All that running and jumping can lead to injuries, though, like shin splints.
Yeah, common problem. He lists causes. Tight calves, Achilles, too much jump rope on hard surfaces, sprint work, old shoes, lots of hills.
Treatment.
Usual stuff. Rest, ice, stretching, maybe anti-inflammatories. But prevention is key.
Which involves
Proper warm-up stretching, good shoes replaced regularly, and specific strengthening exercises for the shins toe raises, heel raises, walking on toes and heels. Practical advice.
Okay, core strength. He highlights one exercise in particular.
The plank. Tremendous for the abs, he says.
Simple but effective. Forearms and toes straight back. Holding it for 5 minutes is apparently a real challenge.
Builds that core stability, essential for power and preventing injuries.
He also introduces some fun ways to do bodyweight training, a points-based routine.
Yeah, creative stuff. 10 minutes. Bodyweight squats are 1 point, push-ups 2 points, burpees 3 points.
Do them in any order, no rest. Goal is max points in 10 minutes. Balances difficulty versus points.
Track reps mentally or jot them down. There's also a burpee plus pull-up challenge. 1 point for burpees, 2 for pull-ups. 10 minutes, alternate, minimal rest, aim to beat your score weekly.
Dumbbell snatches if no pull-up bar. Makes it engaging, pushes you harder.
Exactly. Then there's escalated density training, EDT, Charles Daly's system.
Right, pick 2 exercises. Do as many reps as possible of each in a set time, like 10 minutes. Goal is more reps next time.
Enamait gives his own version. Dumbbell swings, right and left arm, paired with burpees. Do 5 reps of swings, then 5 reps of burpees, back and forth for 10 minutes. Time-efficient way to build volume.
He also described a conditioning drill called power training to spice up road work.
Yeah, a tough circuit repeated 6 times, no rest except jogging back.
What's in it?
12 burpees, immediately into a 100-meter sprint, then 10 plyo push-ups, maybe with a clap, jog back, repeat.
Wow! Combines explosive moves with high-intensity cardio, power endurance.
Then he touches on GPP, general physical preparedness.
Bodyweight calisthenics for a set time, improves sport-specific endurance and recovery.
Yep. His minute drills are examples. Do them 2 to 5 times a week or one longer 8-10-minute drill.
Sample routine has burpees, jumping jacks, split jumps, push-ups, high knees, shadow boxing.
With options for duration, like 20 or 30 seconds per exercise. Total work from 4 to 18 minutes. He even mentions a month-long challenge mixing power training, GPP, and something called a 10 by 10 system.
So GPP builds that broad fitness base, supporting the boxing-specific stuff.
Precisely. Now, his take on weight training is interesting.
It's supplementary, right, not the main focus.
Exactly. He stresses boxing needs sparring, bag work, mitts, running, conditioning, plyos. Too much time in the weight room takes away from that.
So intense but time-efficient routines. Maybe Wednesday and Saturday, since boxing gyms are often mon-free.
That's his suggestion. Focus on boxing skills during the week. Use weights for a change of pace and strength building.
He cautions against strength coaches who don't really get boxing.
Yeah, saying weight room strength isn't the same as boxing fitness. Doesn't build that anaerobic endurance for high punch output. Focus should always be skill and conditioning first. Strength supports that.
Important perspective on keeping training specific.
Definitely. And for variety, he likes unconventional methods too.
Like swinging a sledgehammer or axe against a big tire.
Great for explosive power, endurance, rotational strength, grip, coordination. Do it for rounds, like 2-3 minutes, 4-6 rounds total.
And sandbag training.
Cheap, adjustable weight. Good for power clean presses, squats. The shifting weight forces you to work harder on balance and control. Functional strength.
Adds fun, work muscles differently. Good stuff. Then he talks about continuous improvement.
Yeah, inspired by trainer John Schaefer. Stresses the need to keep getting better. Always.
He notes fighters train hard for camp, but then kind of regress between fights, lose fitness.
So the key is tracking everything. Keep a detailed training log.
For road work intervals, time every run, track heart rate recovery.
For weights, log the weights lifted. For bag work, count punches per round.
Get concrete proof of improvement. Don't just feel stronger, prove it with numbers.
Focus on improving those metrics every fight cycle. Don't slide back. Make tracking routine. Moves beyond guesswork.
Okay, let's touch on supplements. He reviews some ATX boxing supplements.
Right, a pre-workout and a recovery formula. He's clear he has no ties to the company, just giving his honest take.
The pre-workout aims to boost speed, power, endurance, reaction time.
And recovery targets repair, reduces swelling, helps the immune system.
He details his own use, took 4 caps instead of 5 to make it last longer. Notes improved recovery and energy with the pre-workout, found it worthwhile, maybe better value than Body Quicken.
Used the recovery formula post-workout in the evening, felt it helped him feel better the next day.
So, overall approval. Reasonably priced, designed for boxers, simpler than taking lots of separate things.
If he had to pick one, he'd go pre-workout, since his diet was already good for recovery. He also mentions cycling supplements to maintain effectiveness. Practical look at how they might fit in.
He also gets into nutrition for mental performance. The L-tyrosine L-tryptophan balance.
Yeah, fascinating stuff, how they affect neurotransmitters. Tyrosine for dopamine-norepinephrine alertness, tryptophan for serotonin relaxation.
So, eating tyrosine-rich foods earlier, meat, poultry, beans, might prime the brain for performance. He uses L-tyrosine himself in the morning for alertness.
Interesting link between diet and cognitive function. Strategic eating.
And he offers some quick kitchen tips, too.
Like using frozen berries instead of ice and protein shakes. Adds flavor, nutrients.
Or Crystal Light and vanilla shakes for flavor without calories, and for hydration, especially making weight.
Pedialyte over sugary sports drinks. Better electrolyte balance.
Also highlights green tea for antioxidants, and a creatine method for less water weight gains small, frequent doses with food.
But his main advice is always, work hard in the gym first. Rest comes after the fight. Practical, fundamental stuff.
Now, he reflects on Cuban boxing, noting how little people ask about them despite their incredible amateur success.
Yeah, why are they so dominant? His answer isn't fancy gear or facilities.
It's hard work, dedication, strict training basics done well, bag work, partner drills, road work, sparring, calisthenics, and lots of competition.
Their success proves desire and a good trainer are paramount. He remembers his own gym succeeding with limited gear. Basics are key.
Urges people to watch Cuban boxers, study their history, their approach, train hard.
Great reminder that fundamentals and dedication trump fancy stuff.
He also analyzes lessons from big championship fights. Mayorga versus Forrest.
Dictate the pace. Be first. Impose your will. Don't be intimidated.
Nate Campbell versus Joel Casimir.
Believe you belong. Overcome experience gaps with confidence, hard work. Never too late.
John Ruiz versus Roy Jones.
Earn respect early. Make them hesitant with effective shots.
Corey Sanders versus Vladimir Klitschko.
Prepare for your specific opponent's style. Sanders' fast start, southpaw stance. Take everyone seriously, warm up properly.
Vladimir Klitschko versus Lamont Brewster.
Mental strength, believe in yourself against the odds.
Winky Wright versus Shane Mosley.
Pressure isn't just volume punching, it's continuous physical aggression.
Antonio Tarver versus Roy Jones.
Power of confidence. Dedication can beat talent. Also, learning to read opponents tells to anticipate and counter.
And finally, Mickey Ward versus Reggie Green.
Never give up. Fight to a very last second. Incredible insights from real fights.
And for developing that mental toughness, he recommends some reading.
Yeah, articles like Boxing's Green Mile, Athlete's Mind, Teddy Atlas's Shadows of a Room. about the shared mental battles fighters face.
He repeats that experience helps with relaxation, breathing control, urges focus, perseverance. Mental side is huge.
Absolutely. Finally, he tackles some common questions. Training substitutes for running if you're injured.
Swimming, stationary bike, jump rope can work for anaerobic demand, but intensity is crucial. Running's still best overall, he thinks.
And training while sick.
Rest if it's flu-like, especially symptoms below the neck. Let your body recover.
Bodybuilding versus boxing training.
Different goals. Boxing needs speed, power, agility, skill, endurance. Bodybuilding is physique. Too much weight training hurts boxing training. And in-ring tactics.
Use the whole ring, move in and out.
Yeah.
Maintain relentless pressure like Frazier needs top conditioning. Train conditioning around fight ratios. 3-minute work, 1-minute rest.
And cautions against extreme drying out to make weight.
Says it often means you're in the wrong weight class. Should be minimal right before weigh-in. Rehydrate with Pedialyte. Maintain a stable weight year-round. Practical answers to common concerns.
Okay, so wrapping this all up. It's clear that boxing training, the way Ross Enamait breaks it down, is way more than just hitting stuff and running.
Absolutely. It's this really carefully constructed balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Intense conditioning, dedicated skill work, smart rest and recovery, mental toughness.
And even understanding nutrition and opponent styles. The big themes seem to be consistent hard work.
The importance of tracking your progress, knowing if you're actually improving.
And just that unwavering commitment to honing your craft. The level of detail he provides is incredible. Real, concrete example.
Totally. It really shows how multifaceted preparing for a fight truly is.
And hopefully some specifics we dove into really sparked some interest, whether it was the discipline of camp life, the tactics against different styles.
The juggling thing for coordination, maybe, or the mental lessons from those classic fights.
Exactly. Those details show the depth of thought behind it all. And if anything we discussed today got you curious, specific drills, the science of HIIT, mental strategies.
Don't hesitate to dig deeper. Enamait's work is a great starting point, but there's tons of info out there to keep learning.
Definitely. And maybe one final thought to leave folks with.
Go for it.
While we talked about boxing today, think about how many of these core principles, that balance of intense practice and recovery, strategic planning, mental resilience, continuous self-assessment, how much of that might apply to your own goals, whatever field you're in?
Yeah, that's a great point. Maybe the discipline of a boxer holds broader lessons for achieving mastery and, well, pretty much anything.
Something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.